Sir, what is this case regarding, sir?
See, it is one of the case which became defaulter, means could not repay the loan. As so many cases happened, which for which the loans were given before 2014, maybe 11, 12, 12, 13, like that. Or some old loans were rescheduled. All this happened. And those became nearly 10 lakhs 50,000 crores worth loans became NPA by 2014. So many of the banks were in trouble, and also all these loans were given by banks, large financial institutions to large corporate bodies, and many of the loans were based on the projects undertaken. The loans means the running projects are to go for new projects. All these have happened. So many of the projects could not be taken up, could not be started, and the overestimation of revenue was also one of the reasons. Many of these loans became non-performing assets, which could not be repaid by the companies.
Okay.
And this is one of the case. Vijay Mallya case is one of the case. He has got loans for airlines, Kingfisher Airlines company.
Okay.
From consortium of banks, many banks led by State Bank of India. So this became, he could not repay, Kingfisher Airlines could not run properly, financially viable, profitable. The loan became non-performing asset.
Okay.
But this is special case. In many other cases, the security was low, the loans were given depending upon the running projects, or ongoing projects, or upcoming projects, or expansions. There may be diversion of funds or anything like that. But in this case, there were maybe non-performing assets, loans may be around, large borrowers may be around 30 to 40 like that. Out of that, 10 to 20 became totally non-repayable. And this is the case. This also became one of the non-performing loan because of non-payment on time. But here the case, compared to other cases, this is different. How this is different means this person, Vijay Mallya ji, is a borrower, has taken a loan from a consortium of banks led by State Bank of India for Kingfisher Airlines. And Kingfisher Airlines was not performing well, it incurred losses. So he could not repay the loan. But what is the consequences? In many other non-performing asset loans, the assets value was less, the security value was less, but loan outstanding was more.
Okay.
So there were diversion of funds, overvaluations, many things happened. But in the case of this Vijay Mallya case, his asset value was more, loan outstanding is less. The only thing was he could not generate the profit or revenue to repay the loans through Kingfisher Airlines. So that was his. And many of the cases, personal securities or personal assets also, many things personal assets also, personal guarantees also is given by all while giving all loans. Since this loan account is having security more than the loan given, more than the loan outstanding, and the total outstanding with 6,200 crores along with interest by DRT, Debt Recovery Tribunal.
Okay. But he claimed repaid like 14,000 crores, sir.
How it has happened is, I don't know what happened, what made him to go out of the country. I don't know who guided him. When the loans are fully, he could have presented his case in such a way before the judiciary, before the regulators or banks, and before the judiciary also. He could have government also. He could have informed that, see, I am unable to repay the loan because my airlines was not profitable, but my security is full, my loans are fully secured. There is no risk to the bankers. If some more time is given, I am ready to repay. First, give me some time because my assets value is more than my loans outstanding. He could have requested that, or he could have presented his case like that. And somebody is, we don't know how it has happened. He went out of the country. Who guided him or how it has happened, we don't know. The banks has initiated recovery proceedings, and they could recover, auction all these assets. Out of 6,000 per 6,200 crores, they could the banks could recover 14,000 crores worth course recovery on sale of the assets guaranteed by Vijay Mallya. So I told you the two different cases. All other cases are different. All other non-performing loan cases are different because their security value is less than the loan outstanding. But in this particular case, the loan outstanding is less and asset value is more. He could have argued that. He could, by presenting his case before the regulators, maybe Reserve Bank or bankers, or maybe judiciary, that there may be a delay, but there may be delay in repayment, but it cannot be considered as willful default. Because business may be profits or losses, it's common. My business, airline business is like that. There is a possibility of losses also there. There is really losses also. But even then, I am having some other assets, other sources of income, I can repay the loan. He could have presented case like that. And he could not be, he could have been argued, presented case as that not to declare him as willful defaulter, economic offender. He missed the chance. And he has went out of the country. And you know what happens? The regulators who presented before the judiciary was accepted. What is the opinion they have faced? Presented before the judiciary was accepted, considered, declared him as economic offender, willful defaulter. In spite of his asset value is more than 2 times of the loan outstanding. The basic question is whether a delay in repayment can be considered as a willful defaulter. And when there is no risk to the lender, when there is no risk to the lender. This is a basic question. Generally what happens in the banking sector, they will recover the people, they will try to recover more from the people who are having more asset value. It is easy, means those people wants to catch the low hanging fruits. It is easy to recollect. It is easy to recall. Suppose a person has taken a loan against fixed deposit. 90% loan is there, and if the period is over, they will recover the amount, and that will be credited, loan account will be closed. There is no risk to the bank. It is easily catch. The same way if the gold loan is there, the security is there, the loan outstanding is there, the gold value is more than the loan outstanding, they will sell the gold and they will do that. Why not the same case would have been for the properties secured by the borrower? He could have presented the case in that way, but he has not done like that. And see, he can say, it can say he was misunderstood or he misrepresented. You can say he misrepresented his state of affairs to the regulators or well as judiciary, and he could not explain. He could have explained better about the losses incurred in airlines for which the loans was taken, and he was willingness to repay along with interest. And this was not presented by him or his office representative. That led to the conclusion that judiciary declared him as economic offender or willful defaulter, as claimed by the banks, consortium of banks.
Penalty and interest are treatable samely, sir, or in a different way? See,
what we had is around 10-15 days, years are over. Unconfirmed news is that he was ready to pay 6,200 crores as per the DRT tribunal. DRT tribunal, the debt recovery tribunal order, and he was ready to pay 6,200 crores, which includes interest. But the banks the lenders were asking for penal interest.
Okay.
in the interest of penalty interest of 2,300 or 3,000 crores like that, 2,500 crores like that, around 9,000 crores that were outstanding as per the banks, subject to confirmation. Thus 2,300 crores, 2,500 crores became a dispute between the borrower and the lenders, bankers. And he has gone away, gone out of country, and the banks were at liberty to take it position and sell the properties because they are having a asset value. And within the process, the banks could recover, acquire all the properties by him, 131 crores on sale of those assets. So that was happened. So,
sir, only on this Vijay Mallya's company they are doing, or in any other company?
see, generally, I told you, the banks will act against the people who are having more security value, less loan outstanding.
Okay.
See, until now we are saying in such a situation, see, they are unable to recover. For what about other borrowers? Non-performing asset borrowers, no action could be taken because the asset value, security value is less than the loan outstanding. Whatever the amount they could recover, they were recovered. Now they are selling the loan accounts to ARC companies, asset reconstruction companies. All other companies are different, and this case is different.
Okay.
Here the security is more, loan outstanding is less. There the security is less, loan outstanding is more. This is the difference. So, what he said is in his interview, don't call me as economic offender.
Okay.
Because I was ready to repay, and I was ready to pay with interest as judged by DRT. Don't treat me as economic offender or willful defaulter, because my security is more than that. And I expect that fair trial can be accorded to him. Fair trial can be accepted. But all these things have happened. Now it is going back very difficult. We can say sympathy to him, we cannot do. I think reopening all these things may not be possible also, because so much of time has lapsed. It is very difficult to restart the case. And this is, and what is the reaction? What is the general reaction? Many industries saying that business is, risk in business is very common. There may be losses also. And especially airlines, many airline companies went into losses, gone into losses. So many airline companies. One of them is Kingfisher Airlines also. They could not operate and incurred loss. But other companies could not repay the loan. But this company is ready to repay the loan. He was able to repay the loan, even if there is losses, because he was having other assets, other businesses, other incomes. That could have been considered differently. This is the opinion of many of the top industries, or maybe any other intellectuals who deal with economic issues. What others are saying that don't demonize him as an economic offender or willful defaulter, since his loans outstanding is less than the asset value recovered, because already sold is there, recovered. This is giving a lot of scope for rethinking of the approach adopted by the banks and financial institutions while recovering the loans.
Okay.
See, what requires is tough action is required against the people whose assets are less valued than the loan outstanding. But that much tough action is not required in the case of loans outstanding value is less than the asset value secured. There is no risk to the banks or financial institutions, even if there is a delay. And another important aspect is the intention of the borrower. Here the borrower was ready to repay as declared by the debt recovery tribunal, but the banks were not accepting that. That was a dispute, and he could have done is he could have paid the amount as per the DRT order in dispute. In dispute, he could have paid that. He could deposit the loan amount to the court stating that I am ready to repay this much of amount. He could have done that, but he has not done that. That made him a willful defaulter and also economic offender. That declaration is now what is happening is not the recovery of loan. Now the more hurting against him is economic offender, willful defaulter.
Okay.
And that made him to ask the UK government, request by the Indian government to UK government to extradite him from England from UK to India. See,
what system can be put to avoid all these things, sir?
See, what happens is, I told you, when the initiation of case itself is different. All other cases are different, this case is different. All other cases, loans, I told, loans value is, outstanding value is more than the asset value, asset secured. But in this case, the asset value, security value is more than the loan value. So that cannot be treated equally.
Is this only the first case, sir, or many cases are there like this?
Sorry, I told you in many cases, out of 100, maybe 50, maybe 40 or 30, only one case is like this.
Okay.
Many of the cases are loans outstanding value is more than the asset secured. But in this case is different. And because he was having other source of income, other assets, other businesses. This one, and what he says is, naturally when declared by the government, declared by judiciary that economic offender willful defaulter, the legal proceeding will continue by the government for extradition from that country to here. The same case happens to other borrowers also who have gone out of India. And see, what happened is he became a scapegoat. Even able to repay, willing to repay, and fully secured. Three things happened against him. For his what we'll call under response or not active response to the action taken by the banks. So that led to the bad name for him, bad faith, and not only this one, he was considered as willful defaulter and economic offender. And once what he says is now, according to interview, since my loan recovered is more than that, more than the amount adjudged by the debt recovery tribunal, tell me what are you going to do with the excess amount received on sale of the security offered by me. For this, according to news, the banks are saying that you have recovered amount from on sale of your assets, but as on today, still you have to pay around 7,000 crores as interest and late interest and penalty.
I think he has given some regarding the sale of villas and all, right, sir?
That including the 14,000 crores, the sale of his villa, Goa villa also, that was sold for 73 crores. And all his cars, buildings, many buildings were sold. It is not attached, it is sold.
So it's from the different
it's sold purchased by somebody else. But see, this is one of the case of what we'll say sanctioning of loans, but not properly estimating the credit worthiness of the borrower, or nature of business, and also not treating differently when his loans outstanding is less than the value secured by him. Value of assets given as security to the loan sanction. And his nature of business was also very risky. Of course, maybe profitable, maybe loss also. Because of risky business, he incurred loss. There may be some companies maybe profitable. Depends upon the management. And what he says is he is unfairly targeted compared to other defaulters. I told you, because other defaulters were having asset security was less than the loan outstanding. But in this case, I told you the value of loan outstanding is less than the security offered.
Sir, as your experience, he's going to come back to his business.
Coming back is different. maybe coming back may be easy. Maybe he may be adjudged as maybe before the judiciary, anything may be happened. But maybe this, but he has missed the opportunity of presenting his case in a better way. When the proceeding initiated in 2016, 15 like that, 17 like that, he could have presented his views in his favor. What he expressed now, he could have said the same thing. My security, my value of property secured is more than the loan outstanding. I am not going to be a defaulter. I am not going to be an economic offender. I am ready to repay, but give me some time. There is no risk to the banker. He should have said like that. He has missed that opportunity, and because of missing that opportunity, he is declared as willful defaulter, economic offender, and also cases against him as fraud. But he cannot say it is a fraud, because fraud means showing overvaluation, or showing which is not done, or keeping something secret, confidence, keeping something untrue, means say which is not true, presenting as true. It is a fraud. But in this case, it is not a fraud. It is a business loss, genuine business loss. Yes, that may be happen, but it cannot be considered money laundering. What he says is, don't consider me as an economic offender. That may be considered if it is leniently, may be considered. We cannot say. Judiciary maybe take a different view. But he has missed the opportunity. He should have said these words in 2017 itself. He could have been in a better position compared. He would have protected his assets, business, income, and reputation. More than that is reputation. One of the successful businessmen, except in his airlines. He was having the most valuable business of liquor, alcohol, unified spirits like that. He was a major shareholder, he was a major income holder. The same way he should have done it earlier when the proceedings were initiated by banks. And how it is acts, how the judiciary will take the view, how the banks will take the view, how the regulators will take the view after 8-9 years, we cannot say. But he is, in my opinion, he has made victim. Victim becomes scapegoat. Subject to his presentation, he would have presented in such a way, what he done today, he should have done in 17 itself, when the procedure was initiated by the banks. And in this regard, we request the banks also, when you are having a security given is more than the loan outstanding, don't insist for repayment early. Give some more time. Who consider the NPA levels, NPA period for the loans different, where the asset secured is less compared to the people loans outstanding, and the security value is more than the loan outstanding. You cannot treat them all equally. See, in Western countries or in American countries, what they will do, they were granting the loan, they'll see the revenue based loan only. They don't say the security offered, except for which the loan is. Suppose the house loan is given. See, they will see what is the value of the house. Suppose the £1 million, $1 billion house is there. They can give loan up to 75,000, 7.5, so like that. 1 million means 10 lakhs, so they will go 7.5 lakhs. But what happens is, when the house value is only that is the security, and depending upon the repayment, so repayment in 3 months, if they do not pay, they get treated as NPA. But here what happens in India, the bank has used dual system, revenue basis as well as security basis. When you are taking security basis, you should not consider, you should be liberal in considering as NPA. You give some more time. If they give 3 months to them, you give for those borrowers who are having more assets value, at least 1 year or some more period. They are ready to pay within. Don't compromise the repayment of interest or principal. This is my opinion.